Welcome back for another edition of Narrative, The Road to 100 with Black AI Media. I'm Cedric Scott Jr., your host, and I'm joined with another special guest, someone who is moving in the space and making things happen representation wise, showing up for young women, women in general. But I'm really intrigued and excited to hear about how you're really uplifting within our community. So I'm joined by Kee Jones. And I'll open up the space just to give you a quick introduction of who you are and what it is that you do, and then we'll get into our questions.
All right. All right, I'm gonna start off with my signature. Hey y'all, hey. How y'all doing? This your girl Kee Jones. And Key do several things, which I've always been attracted to doing several things, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to helping individuals, and that's what I love to do. So I am the Chief Executive Officer at Black Girl AI, where we help girls ages 8 to 18 years old break into tech, mainly with artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I am also the co-founder of Including Us in Tech, which is a pretty new company that was just founded in August. I'm also the co-founder and CEO of Reset, and Reset is an organization that helps women overcome and defeat traumas.
Well, it's amazing to have you. Thank you so much. We've shared some space before.
Yes, we
You
have.
moderated a panel that I was on at one point in time, and we've had some synergy, and I've connected with you and been following what you've been doing. But I want to start with our driving question that I've asked all of our guests, which is in the context of where we're looking with tech and AI, what does narrative mean to you?
Honestly, when we're talking about AI, let's just be frank here. Narrative to me is all about telling the full transparent story, especially the stories that might otherwise go unheard of. So for me, it's a way to empower and inspire others by sharing experiences, struggles, and triumphs, whether it's through the good, the bad, or the ugly, about breaking into tech through Black Girl AI's missions and through Reset's mental health narratives, and also all of my work with Black Girl AI, and maybe even a little bit of my personal story. So, in a nutshell, to me, I use narrative to shine a light on resilience and growth, and that's what we need, and that's what we're still working on in these tech spaces.
And what I find really valuable in the work that you're doing, particularly with Black Girl AI, with representation, and I always like to say representation matters is not just a hashtag. And the premise of even just doing these series of interviews is showing the proof of that, not just saying it, but here are examples of how and why it actually matters and what it means for us in the space. And for you, stepping into this role in the work that you're doing with Black Girl AI and focusing on young women, because we have seen, a lot of the stats and the metrics related to girls of color, when it comes to STEM related fields or that trajectory, we see a drop off. And I think historically it's been around middle school is when we start to see less and less of our young ladies actually pursuing that. So can you just talk a little bit more about that?
I think a lot where that comes in is a lot in the underrepresented communities. They're not always introduced to the STEM fields, to computer science. So it's kind of hard for them to navigate towards something that they're not even introduced to, especially our girls of color. That's why many of them are not in computer science fields, but let's make it clear. We're here to change that scene. That's why we're here. That's why we're making our faces known. We're making it known. And that's why we're providing these spaces, opening up these organizations, and letting our girls of color know you can do it. So as I always say, lead by example. So we're at the forefront. So we're showing you that you can be at the forefront as well. There's room for us all here. And I always stress it in Black Girl AI to the girls. You girls are our future. So we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that you can leverage this field by all means necessary.
I've definitely met, a lot of women who are moving in these spaces and realizing
Yes.
I have to be one of these people that step up and say the thing, to do the thing. So I just commend you on being one of those role models. And
Absolutely.
Within that, though, I'm really interested just to hear more about your story and how
Right.
you got to that point. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your particular journey when it relates to tech and AI, how you got started, and how did that help you end up where you are right now?
Well, I've always loved children. I started out in the school system. I started out subbing, and that's where my journey just went. It just blossomed from there. When my kids were younger, I volunteered in every sport they was doing, whether I knew what I was doing or not. I stepped up and I coached. I was team mom. I remember when I had never ever coached a day in my life, and I went to the bookstore to Barnes and Noble, and I bought the book Basketball for Dummies, and I was my son's first basketball coach from the ages 4, 5, and 6 division to 7 and 8. And then I coached my daughter, 11, 12, and 13-year olds. Youth, it's always been a passion of mine. So being involved in Black Girl AI it was just an extra bonus because I knew I could get it done because, first of all, I was passionate about it. So I knew I could make a difference. But I'm going to back it up a little bit and talk about my journey and how I actually got into tech. So my journey is actually a blend of healthcare, education, and a deep rooted passion for empowering and serving our underrepresented communities. So with my 25 years in healthcare, 10 years in education, and 4 years in technology, I've been heavily focused on merging these fields to drive innovation and accessibility. So, being the CEO of Black Girl AI, I aim to continue to make tech approachable, relatable, and also beneficial for those that are quite often overlooked still. And I say that with bass in my voice, overlooked still. But that's okay because that's why we're here.
Exactly. And so, with that, because I definitely hear the passion,
Hmm.
and it's interesting to see how you're creating those bridges between healthcare, education, technology. Can you talk a little bit about just the motivation behind Black Girl AI and how, I guess, process wise, how did it come to fruition to actually exist?
That came very unexpected. Like I tell everybody, I did not expect that at all. We were friends before we were business partners, and how we became acquainted is through Mid Journey AI. I'm a planner girl at heart. I love planners and I love journals. So when I came to the conclusion, I'm like, hold on, I could use Mid Journey to create my own images. I'm not the best, but hey, I could put a prompt right in there and get what I want. I may have to roll it a few times to get the exact thing that I want, but I can actually create my own graphics, and I can go and get them printed out and stop paying all this money for these stickers because when I tell you the planner world is a cult world, it's a cult world. It's us women, just buying planners, buying stickers. And I have to be honest, some of it we don't use, but as we all know, planners can be very beneficial. So, when I got introduced to Ayana, and she introduced this to me, it was like, hey, why not? I've started playing around in Mid Journey. I'm already kind of into AI. I'm already learning, doing what I need to do. And children are my passion. I mean, I help boys too because I have two sons. So I'm not biased, but when I was introduced to that opportunity, that was golden. And I took it and ran with it with all of my education and expertise that I had to bring to the table.
And I definitely by no means think that anybody would see that there's a bias at all because I think again, if you look at the truth of it, as you highlighted, there's a clear discrepancy and disparity when it comes to girls in the space.
Mm,
You
yes.
can't really argue that. So to
Right.
say that you're going to step in and fill that void should be applauded.
Right. And that Black Girl AI, that's a statement that I make in my business to bring up to the girls all the time. Yes, lately the tech industry has been a predominantly male dominated industry, but we're breaking that cycle. It's okay. There's also room for girls, women at the table. And we're all working together on that. So I make sure I remind them daily, don't be intimidated by guys because we can do the same thing that they're doing. And we don't have to always look at one another as competitors. We can do things together. But I just make sure that I remind them daily is possible.
Exactly. And that's the important part. And then also thinking about the idea of securing a place at the table, but also in your case with Black Girl AI and what you're doing, you're actually building a table. Was there a defining moment in your career at some point where you realized the potential impact that you could have in terms of the AI and tech space?
Yes, it was always I always realized it, but you know how you just be like, can I do that? You know how we all doubt ourselves at times. And just when you get that moment and you get that nudge and you be like, I may fail, but that's okay. We all fail sometimes, but we have to make a difference. When we see something, we must do something about it. We can't just sit around and be quiet all the time because nothing is going to get done. So we have to be the one to make the moves and get it done. So as I broke into tech, it was just a combination of my lifelong learning and aligning my goals with my values, pretty much. So my work in healthcare, it has allowed me over the years to leverage technology in transforming patient care and education. So with Black Girl AI, this kind of was motivation for me to continue to acquire the relevant certifications needed, continue leveraging my experiences to start initiatives just like the Reset movement. And even in Reset, I use tech as a tool for wellness and support in Reset. So it's just being able to leverage tech all across the board.
And with respect to when you could talk about Black Girl AI, Reset, we can go into all of the facets that you're doing because you're doing a lot of work. Is there any particular insights that you can share about those projects or initiatives or companies that you're specifically passionate about?
Currently, I'm working on projects like at Black Girl AI. We're getting kids the hands-on experience with AI tools and apps, and at the same time, I'm developing content with Reset around trauma, healing, mental wellness, and all of that catering. And also, my niche has been women and Reset, but lately I have seen the need again. I always be on the lookout for the need for us. And I'm noticing that men, also need help in the mental health space. So I've kind of shifted to help our men of color as well. So I'm not just biased to women, guys. I help men now as well. So, but additionally, I'm working on a huge project which many may be already familiar with, and that is our conference with Including Us in Tech. And the name of the conference is Including Us in Tech Con 2025, which will be taking place in New Orleans, Louisiana. So, for those who aren't aware of Including Us at Tech, at Including Us in Tech, we're building an ecosystem of support that includes skills training, mentorship, job placement, and also ongoing PD, professional development. So we are preparing to collaborate with several major tech companies and emerging tech hubs across the country. So of course, I will not name any names specific until all the agreements are formalized, but I'm super excited to say that these collaborations and any collaborations going forward, they're going to create direct pipelines for job placement and also internship opportunities.
That's amazing. And can you state when the conference is going to be held?
The conference is going to be held. We're aiming for the fall of 2025. So I want to say October, November-ish. We haven't penciled an exact date in yet, but it'll be October or November of 2025 in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we'll be looking forward to that and be
Yes.
sure to support and share a lot of growth, development, building
Yes, yes, yes.
across these entities, across these initiatives, a lot of projects, big things in the works. Are there any unique challenges that you've faced as you're building things out, and how do you overcome those things?
Of course, I wouldn't say necessarily unique. I say kind of the normal things in business. There's going to always be hiccups. There's going to always be bumps in the road. Kind of with a little bit of my project management experience, I feel that I handle it kind of well. The agile practices pay off. So that's, kind of what helps me going. And I know a lot of people like to say it's not good to have a plan B or you don't need a plan B. Yes, you do. If something flops, I need to be able to quickly adjust and go to the next thing to keep everything flowing smoothly. But like I said, that goes back, to the project management. It's just a mindset, so yeah, that's how I handle those type of challenges. I always try to have a plan B. So if something flakes, hey, let's just move on to the next thing. This didn't work, let's move on. So it pretty much, I wouldn't say any unique challenges yet, because I know things gonna get tight like towards the end of planning this big conference. So no unique challenges yet, just the basic challenges thus far. But this is one of our biggest projects, and I'm just already mentally preparing for the challenges, because they will be there. Things will happen, but I'm gonna keep a plan B, A and B and C if I have to. Yes.
More holistically across all the work that you're doing, are there any exciting outcomes that you've experienced so far in your work related to AI? And I also I'm curious, what do you hope to achieve in the future, looking long term?
Of course, there's exciting outcomes every day on my end. As long as I see things flowing smoothly and I can help others, that's an exciting outcome for me. But in the future, I just see things, flowing smoothly. I'm gonna back it up to Reset a minute here. Like I tell everybody, my goal for Reset is I plan on being on stages. I plan on being global and nationwide, setting a tone and helping people in the mental health spaces, because we all know the need is there. Everybody don't speak up on it, but the need is there. We all have some type of mental, depending on how we handle it. Everybody handle things differently, but nobody is perfect. Nobody's world is perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. I just say always tend to it. Don't let it spill over. Don't let it get out of control, because then it flows on into other people's life, whether it's your spouse, your parents, your children. What you don't take care of, it falls on the burden of them. So when it comes down to mental health, just see to it. Don't be embarrassed. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Always take care of your mental. If you don't take care of you, then who else will take care of you? And in this world that we live in, we have to stay sane. So don't let all the extra confine you. Don't let the small things worry you. Always, always, always take care of you. Take care of you. Take care of your mental, and don't be afraid to be selfish sometimes. Put you first. You, before you try to take care of anybody else, and make sure that you are straight. Take care of you. They want to see you show up, then let them know, hey, I have to take care of me first. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is not considered being selfish. But that's where I see things in the future. For Reset, Black Girl AI, including us in tech, because we all know in this tech industry, again, our kids need us. They are our future. We have to be the tech leaders. We have to lead by example.
And I'm interested, just even thinking about, because you touched on the topic of mental health and
Yes.
and really considering yourself personally. So related to your personal journey, like how has that shaped the way that you approach your work in this space?
Love that question. I'm gonna tell, like I tell everybody else, I was not very fortunate. I didn't grow up fortunate, which is okay. We don't sit back and just have pity parties. Oh, I didn't have this or I didn't have that when I grew up. That's totally fine. We live and we learn. Like I tell people, we don't know what was the reason for why we grew up, why our family was this way, or what happened. That's very relevant now. We know better, so we do better. And me wanting to see all our children of color having a better future than I even had, that is what sets the tone for all the work that I do in Black Girl AI, when it comes to including us in tech and Reset. Even on the adult side, if I can help someone, I feel great. I feel great. And I never look for nothing in return, because I will be blessed in other ways. So that's what sets the tone and the reason behind how I approach everything that I'm doing now. I want to see everybody make it. And when it comes to the kids, I want to see them have a better future than what I had. And if I can have any type of dealing in that, I'm all for it. We want our kids to be better than us anyway. So it's not just our kids, it's the youth, it's our entire generation. So we all need to come together to shape that. It will never take just one individual. When they say about a village, this is true. Because our youth today are just exposed to so much that we were not exposed to. So it takes double the effort to get to them, but that's okay, because if you're very passionate about what you're doing, it's gonna get done. And like I said, they are exposed to way more than what we exposed to. It takes a little bit more work, but that's okay. If that's your passion, it's your passion, and you're gonna do it.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with what you said around the exposure and kind of what's happening now. I have a 4-year-old son, so I'm just looking at like, man, the world is a little different.
I was just sitting thinking this morning out of nowhere. The thought just came out of nowhere, and I'm like, my granddaughter is only 5, gonna be 6 next month, and I'm just sitting here thinking, we're gonna have to sit down and have these talks with her way sooner than I had with my own daughter. And still I'm gonna be fighting with, like, do I really want to tell her this? Do I really want to expose her to this? But it's best that we do, that our kids hear it coming from us instead of hearing it from outsiders. So yes, I'm just mentally preparing myself for the things that I have to introduce her to and don't want to, because the era I come up in, I'm old school. We don't have these kind of talks till a certain time frame. But we can't do that in this time. We have to have them talks early.
Yeah, things are definitely
Oh,
accelerated.
just
Uh,
like AI. Like when I tell people about that, how robust that's moving. Times the same way, same way. So I mean, we just have to get with it. It's here now. It's here.
yeah,
So we have
that's
to stay. We have to stay on top of it. We have to stay abreast of it. It's here. What can we do?
exactly.
But educate ourselves. And within Black Girl AI, we're starting to also educate the parents, because those kids are
Mm,
smart. A lot, a lot. They know that we don't know when it comes down to technology, and with AI helping them, oh yeah, the parents better get on board. Yes, absolutely. So we all about educating them as well, not just the girls.
I actually want to stay on that point, the educational aspect of it, right? And I'm talking not necessarily just related to school, but educating adults
Mm-hmm.
holistically across the board. Are there certain values and principles that you are embedding in the work that you're doing and implementing that as you're educating the youth,
Yes.
adults, whomever across the projects and initiatives that you're building? Are there certain core values that you're like, this has to be a part and ingrained in everything that I'm doing?
Absolutely. And the girls tell me I sound like a broken record. And I know that I do, because all I talk about all day is using AI ethically and responsible. It's a must. It's a must, and even us as the users, we have to also hold ourselves accountable and be using it ethically and responsibility. Oh my God, yeah, they say, oh, Miss Key, you keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm like, well, yes, it's very important, that you use it ethically and responsibly and be mindful, So yes, that's one of our core values. Again, I sound like a broken record, but they're gonna be okay. When they playing around on there and doing things, when they're not on our watch, it's gonna be in their head. Miss Key said that we better use this responsibly. So
Yeah.
that's one of the core values at Black Girl AI. I'm all about the ethics and the responsibility of artificial intelligence. That's why I love being on panels when they start talking about the ethics and the responsibility and bias. I love being on those panels, because I don't only share my expertise, but of course, I'm learning as well. I learn from other individuals, such as yourself. When we shared a panel, we learn something new every day. Every day when it comes down to artificial intelligence. Every day. So that's one of our core values, ethics and responsibility of AI.
Those are good ones. I'm glad that you're doing that work. You're at the helm of that and making sure that
Yes.
voices are heard and
Yes.
the work that needs to be put in place and setting things up.
And don't plan on taking the foot off the gas anytime soon.
And I'm curious too, because you mentioned the conference that will be
Mhm.
upcoming for including us in tech, but
Yes.
related to Reset and Black Girl AI, what's next for those projects? Do you currently have any exciting developments or future plans that you're working on for those things right now?
I'm always collaborating and adding different type of resources to Reset. And Black Girl AI, the same thing. We have a lot in store for coming into 2025 with Black Girl AI, and additional workshops, webinars, a lot of things with the parents being involved. We, adding that initiative as well. But basically, that's about it. Our major project right now is the conference. We have to put double the time in that, even though it's way next year, but that time goes by fast. So, but we always adding different initiatives to it, but the bulk of our things are going to be rolled out in 2025. Also, Reset and with Black Girl AI.
And a couple more questions, I think, just related to your particular projects, and I think how we're sharing information and getting this out there so that people understand the importance of the work that you're doing. So one question I have is, what's one thing that you wish more people understood about the work that you're doing in this space?
More people understood and respected the time and energy that we put into all of this. And if we didn't care and we didn't have the heart and the passion, we wouldn't be here. Like we all know recently, like it's been an influx. Like everybody just want to join the technology sector. Okay, some of them, don't even do their research. They just go on YouTube and they look at the day in the life of, oh, I want to do that, and then they see the price tag behind. I can make $90K a year, or I can make $120K a year. You go all about the wrong way of doing it. Yes, we all have transferable skills, that can relate in almost any job that we do. But do you have the passion? Do you really have the passion for what you are doing or what you want to do? You don't want to just go to a job every day because they make $120K. No, not that will mess with my mental. Having to go to a job every day just because I make a good salary. That's not gonna cut it. You have to be passionate about what you're involving yourself in. So I don't care what the dollar tag is behind it. Be passionate about what you're doing. Love what you're doing. And that goes for any field. Education, healthcare, technology. Be passionate about what you're doing.
Well said. And with that in mind, taking away, any parameters or anything that will put you in a box, right, with what you're doing. If you had unlimited resources, how would you expand your reach in your current work and initiatives?
That's a good one. But with unlimited resources, what I wouldn't be doing, that's the answer to that question. What I wouldn't be doing and making sure that no child is left behind. No child is left behind. And the way technology is, we have to also think about our seniors. Because a lot of them are still like, oh, I'm not using that. Oh, I'm not using that. So we have to also take them into consideration too. So no senior left behind. No child, no senior. Adults, well, we don't want to leave them behind also, but they can kind of make their own decisions. But definitely no child left behind and no seniors left behind, because things are just moving kind of fast in technology. So we want to make sure everybody stays up to speed. And of course, like I always say, our people, definitely, we have to make sure they stay up to speed.
That's valuable. And I'm glad that you mentioned seniors too, because I personally have a theory where, for me, I believe that there are two groups in society that we don't listen to enough, which are young people and our elders.
Yes,
so I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yes.
So in doing your work with the youth, but then also mentioning and acknowledging our elders, the seniors in our communities in the world, like that's perfect. I appreciate that.
You.
And I won't pull too much more on that, because I think that's it right there.
They all have my heart. I mean, all of them. They all have my heart. If I could do anything for anybody, but definitely the youth and the elders. So they need us more than anything. And that's also a form of giving back. We can never forget how they paved the way and everything that they did for us. So if that's the smallest thing that we can do to pay it forward and give back, then that's what we must do. We must make sure that they are taken care of as well.
Completely agree. And that actually sets up kind of my last two questions I have for you
Okay.
before we close out and have you share, contact information and how we can support you.
Okay.
First one, though, is related to kind of what you just talked about and
Hmm.
how you are really aiming to have an impact and support in our community, in the world. What legacy do you hope that your work leaves behind?
The legacy that I hope to leave behind, it's not just about me. It's about us as a whole. And I hope the legacy that leaves behind is that we did it. Our ancestors started it. Let's finish it. We did it. So it's not just about Key. It's about us as a whole. All of us. So that's the legacy that I hope to leave behind.
That's beautiful. And
Thank you.
is there anything else, any other exciting information, advancements, anything else that you want to share with the audience before we get ready to go ahead and close this out?
No, not exactly. Key's here if y'all need her though. I tell you that. I'm all over doing my thing, and I'm always willing to help. And anything you need, there's always, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn, Kee Jones. The website is www.resetwithkey.com. It's my website with Reset and with Black Girl AI. Of course, you all know that we're on LinkedIn, including us in tech. It's on LinkedIn, but also the website for that is www.blackgirlai.com and www.includingusintech.com. So that's how you
Amazing.
guys can reach Key.
Well, Keith, thank you so much for taking the time to
My
sit
pleasure.
and tell your
My pleasure.
story, give us your narrative, talk about the work you're doing. For everybody that's tuned in, we appreciate you. Thanks for being here again with Black AI Media. And we look forward to catching you back for the next one as we
Yes.
ride all the way up to the road to 100, getting all these narratives, sharing these stories, and making sure that we leave our mark and our legacy in the world.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Peace.